Hey y'all, it's Gord, and what's your deal with 710? What are you doing for our celebration of oil? 710, it's Monday. Do you know of any celebrations going on around this country, around the US? Paste it below, make a comment. Let's get people out there and doing stuff to push the legalization of this. I just shared in Google this morning a story from Ontario. The largest ever dispensary raid was in 2016, called Project Claudia. Now, a report just came out today that well over the majority, let's put it that way, the majority of the 180 charges laid during that raid have been either dismissed, thrown out of court, or stayed. They will not see trial. And that's last year's raid. They've been raiding ever since. These charges aren't going to see court. There's no way the court can put them all through before the law is defunct that they've been charged under. I said it then, I've said it since, and I'll say it again. It's a waste of taxpayers' money going after something, and they say, until it's not legal, until it's legal, it's not legal. That's the fault of our Prime Minister. That's the fault of our legislature not creating an interim time. But why in BC are the cannabis arrests lower than ever in the history of Canada at a time when cannabis is being used at a higher rate than ever in the history of Canada? Why? Because BC understands that the law is changing, that the people have spoken, and they want this stuff legal, and they want access to it, and they don't want to wait for the government to finally get off their ass and do what they promised. They want it now. You want to fix it later. But I want it now. This is normal. This is so normal that just look at the difference. BC is speaking to its people. BC is responding to its people. They know. They said if we shut down every dispensary in Vancouver, we'd have riots in the streets. They know that. Their people won't stand for their rights being squashed just because a law hasn't changed yet. We do have the right to cannabis, and we should have and do have the legal right to have it in any form, yet our LPs only sell it in flour and some really watered down oil that I wouldn't give my dog. So, as I said in Weedy Weekend 100, I do call a bit to the people of Ontario. Stand up and say, be more like BC. BC has more dispensaries, and they manage them well, and they keep the drugs off the street because of them. That's why we're moving into this new world, is to get rid of the criminal nature of it. In Ontario, they go in and they shut down 10 dispensaries. Those 10 dispensaries may have handled a couple of thousand people who now have to get it off the street till they can find another dispensary to serve them. They are not solving the problem. They're chasing their tail, and they're doing it with your money, you people who live in Ontario. They're doing it with your money. Local police, local tax, and it's wasted. The charges are being dismissed and thrown out, and no contest. It's absolutely ridiculous. So people, what are you doing for 710 to try and stand up against this tyranny of our government? It's going to be legal next year. Create an interim state. Even the Public Health Department of Ontario have called for interim decriminalization because it isn't helping anybody, and it's hurting the mental and physical health of the people who get arrested. And it hurts the mental and physical health of those who are supplied by those dispensaries because a sick person, has to go and find a new supply for their medicine that keeps them somewhat healthy and able to live. It's sad that they are. What is driving this? Are the LPs paying for this kind of attack? And if they are, shame on them. And if they aren't, what's behind it? Because it makes no sense. Stand up for your rights, Ontario. Please, please, please. Peace and cheers. Love and harmony.